Okay, so everyone see my slide. So
Yes.
yeah. So all right. Good morning, everybody. So my talk is about human microbiome research in Thailand, and hopefully that with my short talk could give you some overview of what's going on in microbiome research in Thailand. Okay, so I'm presenting on behalf of the Thai Microbiome Research Network, which composed of several experts from multidisciplinary field, from medicines, from nutrition and agro industries, from Mahidol University, Kasetsart University, Chiang Mai University, and Chiang Rai Universities. And also this, we work in a collaboration of Asian microbiome projects, as Dr. Lee already introduced that to you. Now, in terms of general research landscape in microbiomes in Thailand, as you can see that, the publication of the microbiomes in Thailand so keep increasing over time, right? And if you see the types of the research, so you can see that mainly is about immunology and microbiology, medicines, agricultures, and biochemistries. But when you search in Scopus, these terms are kind of overlapping. So, but for my talk today, so probably I'm gonna focus on human research, especially in medicines. So for the research landscapes of Thailand, when you look through the co-occurrence network, using the search term microbiomes, related terms, and then the keywords that was already identified and make a networks. As you can see that we have a large group of relatively large group of publications that working on probiotics and prebiotics. All right. And then we also have some part focusing on the infections, either going to be the Coccidioides difficile infections or viral infection, and of course, recently the COVID-19. And we have some new frontier, at least in Thailand, about microbiome, which is kind of oral microbiomes, vaginal microbiomes, and there are some part of focusing on the gestational diabetes. And I would like to point out that there will be a research view on cholangiocarcinoma. This is very unique in Thailand because here in Thailand we are the endemic area of cholangiocarcinoma. We have the most case probably in the world that have patients with the cholangiocarcinoma, that we have dedicated publication about microbiome in the field of cholangiocarcinoma. And in terms of year, you can see that for more traditional research like probiotic has been going on for a while, even before the time of microbiomes. But you can see that recently we have kind of new field, as I mentioned before, oral microbiomes, rotaviral infections, and some part of pregnancy-related microbiomes, including the gestational DM, and of course, COVID-19 in the past couple of years. All right, so Thailand with microbiome research in Thailand also collaborate over several countries, so mainly from USA, UK, Japan, Australia. All right. For example, in the network, our network in Japan, Singapore, and recently in Indonesia and Malaysia, so it's been established recently, probably as part of the ongoing and growing research of the microbiomes collaboratively. Okay, so for that, so I just going to introduce you a little bit of the part of the microbiome research in Thailand in terms of nutrition and medicines. So I would introduce you a little bit about Thailand, geography of Thailand, that Thailand comparable even with the relatively smaller area when compared to Indonesia, but we have really kind of diverse geographic areas with mountain range in the north, right? The plateau in the northeast. We have the river basins in the central and the tropical jungle in the south. Right, with the population concentrated mainly in Bangkok metropolitan area, as you can see in the graph here, and some part of in the north in Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai, which we have the university that have a collaboration in our network here. So because of these diverse geographic areas, right, this is pretty much reflect on the diversity of the diets. All right, so if you have a chance to go to Thai restaurant, all right, most of the Thai dishes in Thai restaurant are from the central regions. All right, but actually, the diet in Thailand is so diverse among each region of the countries. But for the north, which is the mountain areas, the taste is kind of milder. All right, in the northeastern part, which is a plateau, which is very prone to drought, and the local exotic ingredient has been incorporated in the dish, like insect or frog or snake, something like that. And of course, very special for the northeastern part is the fermented fish, in Thai, which is in Thai we call pala. Right, historically, pala or fermented fish play a very important role in the Mekong River basin since a very ancient time. All right, so somebody said that our Asian community is the para community, is the fermented fish communities. In central part of Thailand, we have a very wider ingredients, right? Meat, vegetable, and some kind of seafood, and we have a very wider taste. And this is represent more like a standard Thai diet, as you know. In the south, we have influence from Malays and Islamic cuisines, and they have a very spicy taste, very strong taste. For if from the traditional diet in Thailand, right? So nutrition also have the transitional period in Thailand, right? The transitional period from the traditional conventional into more westernized diets. But in summary is that, if you have in the urban area, if you have a bigger household, and the families have better educations and have more kids, yeah, they tend to go away, right, or move away from the more traditional home cooked diet and prefer like a pre-cooked meat or a pre-cooked dish and some kind of Western diet, including some bakeries and then some more sugar and sweets. All right. I mean, the more and more urbanization, right? We see the trends that this has been going on. Right? I think that probably it's not only in Thailand, but probably everywhere in Asia. Yeah, for example, is that this is a pictures of very conventional, traditional home cooked meal. All right, so you see a lot of vegetables here, and then some dish with local ingredients, and then the trend kind of move on to the pre-cooked meat that you can buy on the street. All right, it's still a Thai traditional street, but you have some varieties of the meat and the spice and some vegetables, and of course the trend is also move to more westernized diets, right? Especially that you can have a convenience store for every corner of the street, even in the countryside, meaning that everybody is in the countries have can be exposed to the more westernized diets like soda, ice creams, and some kind of sweets or cakes. All right, and maybe this is go along with the incidence of the diabetes, all right, in Thailand, that it's still increasing, all right, when compared to other countries, but Thailand start to still keep the trend to have the increasing prevalence of the end. Okay, in such case, this is an example. Some of the works of our network is try to tackle these problems. All right, but first we try to see what actually is the normal, what is it called normal gut microbiomes of Thai populations. All right, so there are some very pioneers work, for example, in this publication to look for the change in the gut microbiome related to age, which we can see that for the elderly have tend to increase bacteroides, all right, and then reduce in actinobacteria, and they have different F&B Firmicutes and bacteroides ratio. This publication explores the gut microbiomes in the Thai adults, which identifies the major families, which is including Ruminococcaceae and Lactospiraceae, which hopefully then we can establish like the standard or the cutoff to call okay, this is a normal gut microbiome profile of Thai populations. This study has been conducted in Chiang Rai to see the gut microbiome difference among the children of several ethnicities. Very interesting that when you look at the ethnicity, whether it's going to be the Hill tribe, the Akha or Lahu Hill tribes, or Chinese or Thai or the Thai ethnicity, it doesn't quite affect the difference in gut microbiota when compared to the other demographic factors like diets or vaginal deliveries or age, right? Which means that the more epidemiological factors like age, diets, and vaginal delivery, the mode of deliveries can influence the gut microbiome more than the ethnicity itself. And also, we also have the exploration of the microbiome profile in Thai obesity patients, which is still in manuscript is still in preparations. But even just look at the bar chart here, we can see some difference among the healthy controls and the obesity groups. Okay, so in search for more, this is more like comparable to the work of Safarina's work, that we also look for the population in the remote area of the Thailand as well. Not as remote as in Indonesia. We can still have a road access by road, but you can see actually in the map here, this is the most remote, probably the most remote village in Thailand that we have to go to the middle of the jungle here, right, and collect the samples. This is from the Hill tribe, the Karen peoples of Phetchaburi province. Besides the village in the jungle here, we have also groups of the same ethnicities, but some of the groups already moved into the cities, and we also collect the samples from those populations in order to compare that whether if you change the lifestyle from the very traditional remote jungle village like this into more urbanized hill tribe, what will be the difference? So the data is currently being analyzed as the part of the Asian Microbiome project, and hopefully that we could give a very interesting result soon. Okay, so I'm gonna switch gear a little bit into the part of medicines, then how we could apply the knowledge of microbiome into medicines, and which, as I listed here, there are many possibilities that people or researchers try to explore. But of this, among all this application, fecal microbiome transplant, this is the only one that has been accepted as a very effective treatment. All right, when you compare to pre or probiotic, that still doesn't have the decisive result in order for treating patients, right, when compared to the fecal microbiome transplant. So in my hospital, we explore the possibility of using FMT in order to improve the outcome of the treatment with the leukemia patients. So for leukemia patients, right, when they come and then need to have a bone marrow transplant, usually after the treatment, after the transplant, including chemotherapy, so immunosuppressive drugs and antibiotics, they receive a lot of treatment. And usually the patient will result in the state of this gut dysbiosis. And after that, some of the patients are very susceptible to hospital-acquired infection, and which is have a very high mortalities. Okay, our idea is that, is it possible is that, could we do the FMT in order to restore, at least for some part of the healthy microbiome back to the dysbiotic patients here. But the problem that we encounter is that usually, when you try to find the donors of the FMT, usually
Iyarit, you have 1 minute.
Right, thank you. So we have very stringent. Usually there are very stringent criteria in order to choose the donor, including you would have to you need to exclude all the multi-drug resistant bacteria in those species. All right, this is already reported already that there are some patients that die from the drug resistant bacteria that exists in the donor stool. The problem is that among, at least in Thailand, the very high carrier rate of the drug resistant, even in general population, meaning that in order to find the suitable donors for FMT would be very difficult if we have to find from the general populations. Which means that the only option is that we could do the autologous transplant, meaning that this is kind of analogous to the microbial valve, but in the more shorter terms, that we take the feces before the treatment, store that, and then after the treatment, we restore that feces back to the same patients. All right. So now in my hospital, we are investigating these possibilities now. So my very last slide is that the current situation in Thailand, that the Thailand now enter the full aging society, probably one of the very first country in the world that enter the aging societies, and in such case, the government response. This is a big kind of relatively big move by the government to funding the intentional microbiome project in the aging population that are being conducted in Thailand right now. So the challenge, my last slide, the challenge for microbiome research in Thailand, but maybe probably in the other country as well, is that most of the research projects have very low budget. In such case, have a very limited sample size, which means that might not be able to represent the bigger population of the countries or the geographic regions. But when you want to combine all this data together, turn out that the microbiome research usually very sensitive to methodological bias. If you use the same different methodology, then the data cannot be combined. In such case, the consortia, or at least standardized methodology, that everybody use the same method, and at the end we can combine all the data from different research and give a bigger or better view of the microprofile of the nations. And we need the national and local bio repositories. That our network already been in touch with the Thailand National Biobank. That hopefully that one day we could establish the biobank of the feces or the microbiota from Thai populations. And this has to be investigated in the long term. The long-term burdens of antimicrobial resistance in general population, that we know that in healthy people in the general population do carry antimicrobial resistance genes, but we don't know what the effect of this gene in the long term, whether or not the patient we're gonna get sick by their own antibiotic resistant bacteria or not. This has to be investigated in the future. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Iyarit. This looks like one of our area. We have the same tropical countries.